All right, like I said, we're relaxing, we're chilling. If you hear any, that's just the springs of this old, new blue futon. But the first movie on the list, if you saw the intro video, that's probably on the top of the page, is The Farewell. So I saw The Farewell. Should we do intro? Why not? Let's do the farewell intro. So, The Farewell was a movie with so much praise, buzz, everything coming out of like Sundance, coming out of all the film festivals in January, saying this was like the best movie of the year. And of course, I knew about the premise, West Eastern culture, China, America. In China, if someone's dying, you don't tell them that they're dying apparently because you want to live the best years of their life, happy, and then all of a sudden they die. And so they're just happy dead. I guess that's the whole premise of how the culture in China, the East, does it. But then, of course, there's some clash in the movie of, like, why some people from China left to America, like the parents, and why they had to do it to raise their daughter in New York, and how they enjoyed China instead of the other people. And there's also clashes of, like, oh, but you sent your child to America, but you expect them to come back because of money, and life's all about money. You know, some weird classes. But the whole point of the story is for everyone to go to China and be with the grandmother who is dying from lung cancer. So what's good about the movie? I did like the premise. This is basically based off a true story of the director and writer had the same thing happen to her. And so I did like about that. There's some humor that worked in this movie, and some of it I just didn't understand. There are some people that were in the audience that kind of laughed at it. I was like, I don't see this as funny at all. Maybe because, you know, some past artists, my past experiences are it just didn't work for me. The good thing also is the person who played the grandma. I don't know her name, but she has the best acting of the year as of right now. So if she doesn't get an Oscar nom, that's kind of a poo-poo. But the rest of the movie, I don't think should be an Oscar-nominated movie, but at least her getting an Oscar nominated for Best Actress should be on that bid for sure, hands down. What I didn't like about the movie is basically the Awkwafina character, because it's basically based around her, and some of the dialogue she has of the whole pity party bullshit that she has to do with, like, oh, we need to tell, and like she feels like it's all about her. I guess that's the whole story is I don't like it. It kind of focuses on her and how she thinks it is all about her. And there's also a story there's also a part in the story, that's kind of there's a round table of how I was saying about China versus America, and then she would just time in like, oh, but there's gun control and, you know, healthcare issues. But while that movie's going on, you have the Hong Kong versus China protests going on right now, where you have the people in Hong Kong waving American flags saying we want our Second Amendment rights because we want guns because only the government has guns and they are threatening us. So it was a kind of weird dialogue to put in the story, which I'll put $1,000. That dialogue scene wasn't in the real life scenario, so you kind of have that scene. I understand why they did it, kind of the whole China versus U.S. and why one person did it, but then how someone who's only really been in America sees it. I understand why they did it, but that sure as shit wasn't in the original space of this true story of when it actually occurred. In my opinion, I could be 100% wrong, but it just felt tacked on. There's some tacking on. And like I said, this movie didn't click with me. Like, I guess people were supposed to cry and everything, and nothing clicked. I mean, no emotion. To me, it wasn't emotional. I mean, maybe I'm just heartless. But Farewell, good acting by some. I understand why they did this story. I don't understand the hype. It was way too overhyped for the movie. I didn't like Awkwafina's character of some of it, and some of the dialogue didn't fall flat. And some of the humor, I just understand of why they decided to do it. So, The Farewell will receive a 2.5 out of 5 blue futons, which equals at 50%. So let's see the critics' news scores gave this film. Alright, according to Rotten Tomato, critics at 99% with 224 reviews. 87% audience with only 2,188 reviews. I wonder why, because of that new Rotten Tomatoes change, you're going to get a lot less reviews, because a lot of people are like, I don't want to do it. And here's critic consensus. The Farewell definitely captures complicated family dynamics with a potent, well-acted drama that marries cultural specificities with universally relatable themes. you can tell I went to college, guys, with how I pronounce words. I would have to disagree. There's some things I agree and disagree with that critic consensus, I guess. But as a whole, I mean, the movie just didn't click with me. Would I watch it again? I don't know. In the whole ending, I won't spoil what happens in the end, but you kind of knew what happened at the end. You're like, okay, that was going to happen anyway. So it kind of like counteracts the story of what to do in that situation, in my opinion. But I don't want, like I said, I don't want to spoil the ending. It kind of is conflicting as well. But do you agree with my 50%? The critics 99 or the users 87. Chase, I get the blue futon. Like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think about this Blue Futon Utopia. You Blue Futonians. I actually have a blue futon. Yo, like I said, if you see the TV in the back, it means I went to the movies or it'll be Netflix. But hey, like I said, I got a lot to review. Let's jump right into the next one.